This lesson is scatter plots and line graphs using boards number 14 and number 28. We'll need the dry erase markers in the cloth as well as the flex ruler for the line graphs portion of this lesson. What I've done is I've laid out the data from the first example in the manual on board number 28. You can see that in the left column, or the X values, we have labeled the time in seconds running from 0 through 12, and in the Y column we've labeled the distance in meters from 0 through 100. What this data represents is the time that it takes for a runner to complete 100 meters. So we can take this data and we can transfer it onto board number 14 using this positive quadrant grid only. I have labeled the axis. On the x-axis I've labeled the time in seconds, and on the y-axis I've labeled the distance covered in meters. Make sure that your scale is appropriate. In this case, the total time was 12 seconds and the distance was 100 meters, so I have chosen the best range of values that constrains the data. So the first point that we have to plot for the scatter plot is 0, 0. At the beginning of the race, the runner has not completed any distance. The next interval that we have occurs at the 2-second mark, and we'll go over 2 seconds, and the runner has completed 10 meters. We'll continue on at 4:25. Notice there's no 25, but we'll mark it halfway between the two values, 20 and 30. Then the next interval is at 6 seconds, which is 45. And then the next one is 8 seconds, which is 65. The next one is 10 seconds, which is 85. And finally, at 12 seconds, he has completed 100 meters. So this is a scatter plot. Notice we have not connected the points, and if we were to connect the points we would have a line graph. So all we need to do to convert this is to connect the dots using a ruler, and I'll do it freehand here. This is why you tell students to use rulers. They'll end up with a much straighter line. Notice that the slope of the line is not constant all the way through, so it is not a straight line that we're graphing here, because the rate at which the runner is covering distance is slower at first and starts to pick up, and as he gets here it starts to tail off. So the slope of the line, which is for another lesson, determines how fast the distance is being covered over the time. So this is how you create a scatter plot and or a line graph using boards number 14 and number 28.